I'm Fletcher Roden, and this is Tracking the Lone Wolf. It's based on my new book, Tracking the Lone Wolf, The Sigma at Work, at Home, and at Play. Today on Tracking the Lone Wolf, democracy as a manifestation of the Sigma personality. Tracking the Lone Wolf is a twice-monthly show that's got fascinating information which is vital to just about everybody. So I suggest you like this video and subscribe to the channel. The book is available in paperback and for Kindle and in audiobook format from Audible or other platforms. I am a public speaker, and you can learn more about that at the website trackingthelonewolf.com. What do I mean when I say that democracy is a manifestation of the Sigma personality? Well, the Sigma is known for an active social conscience, an independent nature, a disregard for the standards and mores of others, a concern for the well-being of others, active listening, a certain amount of isolation. Sigmas are basically introverted extroverts. It's a rarity, 1% of the population roughly. Some say as little as 0.2%. Some say as many as 2%. So I find 1% to be a handy average. Now let's take a look at this modern experiment of Western democracy. The modern democracy. Of course, we know that democracy is an ancient experiment, but the modern experiment begins here, in the United States of America. Even the American Revolutionary War was itself an act of Sigma energy. We were not an alpha entity then, certainly not. One would have to say that England would be the alpha country of the day. We were not so much of a beta country either. These colonies wouldn't keep their heads down and do the work for the greater good and send the taxes to the crown. They certainly weren't omegas or gammas, nor deltas. This was a cluster of sigmas. This was the Sigma mentality at work. The Revolutionary War was a manifestation of the Sigma personality in action. And so too is the entire country. One might think of the United States as the alpha country of the 20th century in global politics after World War II. Certainly. And this may be so, because we do have the strengths of leadership, charisma, gravitas, ideology, self-glorification, an arrogance, prone to physicality, prone to aggression, old-fashioned. However, we have many Sigma qualities too, such as the ability to adapt, a forward-looking inclination. Unfortunately, ours is a divided country, and while half of the country looks forward, the other half looks back. While one half is growth-minded, the other half is fixed-minded. And neither is right nor wrong, because as we've seen in other episodes of this program, The Lone Wolf, and as we see in greater detail in my book, Tracking the Lone Wolf, The Sigma at Work and at Home and at Play, we see that the alpha is inhibited by certain weaknesses that the Sigma is not. The United States is adaptable. It has growth-minded capacity. But it is not always so that a fixed-minded perspective is the wrong perspective. The fixed-minded perspective grounds any perspective in tradition and things which should not necessarily change. It is too easy to say that the one is all good and the other all bad. That's just not the way it is. And in this country, we are so diverse and at the moment so divided that we simply do not speak with one voice as one country at the moment. However, that is a very Sigma trait. The Sigma is conflicted. The Sigma is an introverted extrovert. Like the United States, conflicted between two seemingly contradictory impulses. Democracy itself, in the modern era, was a Sigma turn. It rejected monarchies. It suggested a new way, different, bold, self-reliant, self-sufficient, which are Sigma qualities. We certainly were not alpha. We were not an alpha country in our inception. Perhaps we developed into one, but we have to be careful because the alpha has internal weaknesses, inherent weaknesses, which doom the alpha. The Sigma can adapt to changing climate. The alpha is committed to a non-changing culture. So when things are changing drastically, which is a climatic manifestation, it's the Sigma who is better suited to adapt and survive. The alpha, sticking to the old ways, being stubborn, often unwilling to yield to changes in the climate, may suffer a downfall. I think of democracy, I think of America as a Sigma manifestation, adaptable, fleet-footed, steeped in tradition, yes, but remember, we're only 200 years old or so. We haven't had that many centuries to develop that many traditions. We are born of a non-traditional approach. We are born of a process approach, not a system approach. We are born of a growth-minded approach, not a fixed-minded approach. That is what makes democracy great. Democracy can grow. Democracy itself is a growth-minded approach, not a fixed-minded approach, or else we'd be a monarchy. So it all correlates. And once again, we see here, just in the very living democracy in which we live, that the Sigma approach to life, the Sigma manifestation is a more adaptable and more apt to survive than even the Alpha. That's why the Alpha fears the Sigma. That's why the Alpha is threatened by the Sigma. Because even though the Sigma doesn't get to enjoy the many luxuries that the Alpha does, the securities of community, of leadership, the Sigma is not vulnerable to those things which overturn the Alpha, such as time, physiology, sociology, changing climate. So I would say democracy from these United States and the democracy which it brings to the modern world are in themselves manifestations of the Sigma personality. And that brings us to the end of our analysis. You can read more about this in my book, Tracking the Lone Wolf, the Sigma at work, at home, and at play. The paperback is available, and so is the Kindle edition and the audiobook from Audible and other platforms. Go to the website, trackingthelonewolf.com, for more information. I'm Fletcher Roden, and this has been Tracking the Lone Wolf. We'll see you again.